In this part, I'll be talking so much about the nature of life, the nature of God. When you understand the nature of God, you understand the nature of life, and you will also understand that life and consciousness are the same thing. There is no way you can say that is God and this is me. Now, this is the most essential part. In our introduction, I explained on who you are, and I said you are first a spirit, non-physical, that has a soul living in a body. And the characteristics of a spirit is it possesses influence, control, and authority to cause effect on the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. I'd like you to underline that word, cause effect, because it is this part that generated the inbuilt propensity of humanity, infused in two spheres: the divine consciousness and the ego consciousness. It is this ego consciousness that gives you form, that gives you personality, and that is it that engulfs or embodies your soul. Now, I'll be stating the nature of God, which is life force. I will start by stating the first characteristic. It is from these characteristics that you will understand now the reality between the unseen and the seen. Now, I will start by 1. The nature of the creative power is growth. Everything living always grows. Sometimes people want to see miracles, forgetting that your existence on its own is a miracle. Because the reality of that which you are is God, and God is the spirit, non-physical. But for it to become physical, with all this knowledge, with all this perfection, is more of the most powerful miracle in the universe. That which you can see, touch, hear. All these 5 senses are characterized by the reality of the unseen, which is the Spirit of God. Growth is a universal characteristic, an undeviating principle of existence. 2. The nature of the creative power is nutrition and nourishment. Now, let me explain to you more and more. Nutrition and nourishment are a normal and marvelous organized process within bodies, which is evident to all who take the trouble to consider them. Nutrition is provided for all living things according to individual preferences, and the food is digested to promote health and well-being. When little creatures are born, milk is already supplied within the mother, ready and waiting for the newborn. This too is a mystifying principle of existence none can deny. The milk do not flow before the newborn, but after the newborn, yet still undetected unless the moment of birth has taken place. No science can explain why such a fortuitous function within the system ensuring survival of the species should have originally come into being. The actual function itself may be understood, but not the why and the mainspring of the function. 3. The nature of the creative power is healing. What is more mystifying than healing? Healing is a natural characteristic of existence and can be said to be a natural perfecting process which takes place to ensure individual comfort, but none can explain what prompts the activity of healing. None can explain it. The nature of the creative power is protection. Protection is an integral characteristic of creative power, and all of its seeming miraculous activity in the world is geared towards protection. Today, your medical textbooks describes the various protective systems in your body. But when I was in my journey for ardent seeking, I saw the characteristics of protection inherent in the intelligent creative power in the following ways. As plants, birds, and animals were presented to me for inspired observation, I could see how every need of protection in bodies has been lovingly supplied with the greatest attention to detail. 5. This characteristic of protection is combined with the other dynamic characteristics of fulfillment of need. This was made clearly apparent in the provision of hair, fur, and feathers to protect the skin of living creatures and to provide warmth in the cold and shelter in the heat. I saw the tender endings of important and sensitive fingers and toes were all provided with appropriate protection of hoof and nail. Eyebrows protected eyes from sweat. Eyelids and lashes protects eyes from dust and damage. I realized that animals that attracts flies are equipped with a long tail to speedily get rid of them. What a happy, joyous kind of love and caring were expressed in these small physical attributes, which seem so small and inconsequential, and yet had such a profound bearing on the comfort of all living things. These physical luxuries, added to the basic physical design, were clearly the product of an intelligence which intended creation to be comfortable and happy, free of the stress which would have been exercised by man and beast itself. Even the natural functions were so intelligently and comfortably designed as to call forth thanksgiving, gratitude. Everything took so neatly out of sight. How blessed, how fortunate was mankind to be born into a life wonderfully provided for. Living creatures were also meant to express the exuberant, loving nature of the creative power. For this reason, they were equipped with the limbs and the arms, hands, legs, and the feet, fingers and toes, to enable them to move about, run, leap, and dance, to be able to express their innermost thoughts and the feeling. I even felt that if mankind longed to fly and to grow wings and believe with all their hearts that this could be so, eventually something would begin growing, something additional to enable them to fly. It was at this point of understanding of the nature of the creative power that I came to a full consciousness of the loving directing works of the universal intelligent creative power, the life force that I call my father, my parents.